Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Back at it Monday. Thank you so much for connecting, for being Up+Adam. My name is Adam Montiel. This is a motivational Monday. So motivational that I have not been kind of like a little sore throat on Sunday after the wedding I was in, and just been, even today I don't feel right. But I was so excited about this show. I gargled some colloidal silver, salt water, and I was just like, yeah, got motivated. So we're going to try to bust through this show. But man, this guest is something. A motivational Monday here. What if I told you the hardest battle a Navy SEAL ever fought wasn't in combat, not in a war zone, not under fire, but alone in his own home, staring back at that person in the mirror? Today on Up+Adam, former SEAL Team 6 operator Andy Stumpf joins us. He's not here to tell us war stories. He's here to talk about failure, identity, and the moments really that almost broke him, from nearly losing everything earlier in his career to a divorce that tested him more than any mission ever could. Andy reframes what it really means to be strong, why most of us are fighting the wrong battles. He calls failure tuition. I love that. In this book, it plays such a big role. He says integrity can't be outsourced. And maybe the most powerful of all, he believes the difference between drowning and surviving isn't the water. It's how you respond to it. This isn't about being a SEAL. This is about being human and learning how to keep your head above water when life gets super heavy. So stay with us in a couple minutes. Andy Stumpf, former Navy SEAL. I mean, you're kind of always a Navy SEAL, maybe former active Navy SEAL. I mean, I think once you're a Navy SEAL, you are a Navy SEAL for real. He is coming up in just a few minutes. Before that, we tell about my friends at the Mountain Air. But I want to talk to you about the Switchback per se. The Switchback is their sister store. You ever look at your gear and think, I'm not using this, but somebody should be. That's exactly what the Switchback was built for. Right there on Marsh in San Luis Obispo, just a couple doors down from the Mountain Air, who we talk about here on the show. It's their sister shop where you can buy and sell used gear, apparel, footwear, all of it. So your stuff gets another run and somebody else gets a shot at something. And what a great way to get into maybe something that you're not totally, maybe you have dove deep in yet, whether it's hiking or, back in the day when I was just feeling out roller hockey, I was a kid. I used to go to this spot called Play It Again Sports. And then I go, I'm going to get, this somebody's old Easton thing or some of this or some of that. So I don't know. I just love what they're doing here. I love what they're doing with the Mountain Air. I love what they're doing with the Switchback. They've been doing that. The Switchback's been around since 1975. That's over 50 years, this store. And this place has just mattered. Josh and Lindsay Herring, they're incredible people. Make sure when you get in there, you let them know you heard them on Up+Adam. Say thank you to them for keeping it local, not just who they serve, but in how they do their business with what they earn. It really matters. Learn more at theswitchback.com, also themountainair.com.
It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right. He's a former Navy SEAL Team 6 operator. He's a podcast host. Now he's the author of Drownproof, 8 life lessons to keep your head above water. But Andy Stumpf is not here to talk about war stories. He's here to talk about what happens when life hits you in a way you can't train for. When failure, fear, identity all collide. And the toughest battle is the one happening inside your own head. From reframing failure as tuition to learning about how to navigate moments that feel impossible to outlast, Andy brings a raw, honest, and deeply human perspective on what it takes to keep moving forward. Excited to welcome Andy Stumpf Thank you so much for being Up and Adam, Andy.
Of course.
So you've talked about being shot in Iraq, going through Hell Week, carrying the weight of some of the most dangerous missions in modern military history. And then the world looks at that and says, well, that's the hard stuff. But in this book, you talk about your divorce nearly destroying you in a way that combat never did. When you're standing in the middle of that kind of pain, not in a war zone, but like in your own kitchen, your own mirror, what does a trained Navy SEAL do when the enemy is up here?
That's a great question. And I'm glad that you picked up on that in the book. People ask me all the time about SEAL training. I'm like, listen, you can have my Trident that I got at the end of that pipeline. You really want to test yourself? Go through a 2-year contentious divorce with children involved. Let me know how you feel at the end of that bad boy. And what you described is exactly the biggest enemy that I was facing. It was the person that I saw in the mirror. And there is no more dangerous person out there than when you turn your mind against yourself. I wrote an entire chapter about exactly the tool that I used in that situation. And for me, I didn't know that the divorce process was going to be 2 years long. And that is actually worse than knowing how long something is going to be, because you can talk yourself into saying this is going to last forever. And how do you survive something that lasts forever? I don't know the answer to that, but I know it's more difficult than saying this is going to last for 1 month, because at least I know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. I broke my day up into the smallest possible pieces. Not every day was catastrophically bad, for sure, but there were days where I didn't even want to get out of bed because I felt like gravity had somehow 3x'd itself, if not 10x'd itself. And in those moments, you have to move. You have to break your day up into the smallest digestible pieces so you can get your way through it and focus on anything other than how much time remains in that day. Do not look at the clock and say to yourself, I'm not going to be able to do this for fill in the blank. And this is how small I would break it down. I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to go brush my teeth. And I'm not going to think about what I do after that. And then I would brush my teeth and be like, well, they say drinking some water after getting out of bed is a good idea. I'm going to go into the kitchen and get some water. And then I would go do that. And then it's like, food traditionally has been said is a good thing to fuel the human body. So maybe we should do a little bit of that. And that's how I would work my way through it. If I wanted to stay in bed all day, I would just sit there and look at the clock and try to like, how am I you know what I mean? I would slam my optic of time wide open until I got it to this place where it was insurmountable. So why even get out of bed in the first place? The key in those environments is to make your world so small and pick a step that might be microscopic from a distance, but at least you build some momentum, and then you can find your next step and your next step and your next step.
You know, you opened Drownproof by saying, and I love this, I'm sick of SEAL books. You know, you straight up said that. And in the book,
I don't know if I said something along those lines.
Right. But I guess my question is like, so why write this one? And what was the version of this book you were not willing to write? And what made you want to put your name on this one instead?
Yeah. So this book, I think the first sentence in the actual book after the foreword and stuff like that says, this is not a book of war stories. Those are kind of the stories. Those are kind of the books. I'm not sick of them. I just feel like there's enough of them. And I don't have anything to offer in that world. I was never on some ultra recognizable military operation that made the news. I served amongst people that I still consider to be my heroes. I was just happy to be on the team, and they have the stories to tell. So I don't want to tell that story. Enough stories have been told about the SEAL training pipeline and the physical difficulties. And spoiler alert, the Pacific Ocean, as you know, being in San Luis Obispo, is very cold. And if you go to the beach, guess what? It's sandy. And if you run with a telephone pole, it gets heavy. And boats on your heads, those books have already been done. I didn't want to be lost in that. What I wanted to do was take the things that I learned, the lessons that I have learned, the experiences that have shaped who I am as a person, and have changed the trajectory of my life. What I want to do is take those and actually do something with them other than impact my own life personally, because I don't want to arrive at my deathbed knowing that I had this amazing set of tools and the only person that I let use them was myself. I want to take those tools and the lessons. I mean, I broke it down into 8 in the book, but there could be 40, but I don't want to write a 40 chapter book. You know, maybe that opens up the opportunity to write more into the future. We'll see. But it's my best attempt to set that foundation and framework and tool set so that people don't have to go down the career path that I did and don't have to have the arduous and honestly, oftentimes physically painful experiences that I did. The tools and the lessons, they're still there. And there is a reason why they train us and teach us and reinforce those the way that they do throughout a career. If I can translate that to something that people can use as a tool for their personal and professional life and find success, that's all I could possibly ask for. And that's all I'm trying to do. Now, did I used to be a SEAL? Yes. Does that help stop people a little bit and maybe take a look at what it is that I wrote? Yes. But being a SEAL will not be all that I will ever be known for, and it's not all that who I am. And that largely tied into my hesitation as well. And this is my attempt to do something with that experiences that just helps other people.
You know, I did a TEDx on determination. So when I saw you talking about reframing failure, you don't just accept it, you reframe it, you call it tuition. I thought that was so powerful. And then, when you talk about fear, I mean, okay, so there's a powerful mental shift there, and it's hard to do in real time. How do you train yourself to see pain as payment instead of punishment, and then talk fear, whether it's life, business, personal decisions? What are those internal conversations, Andy?
Yeah, so failure to me, and trust me, it took me to get a lot closer to my 50s to understand that failure are just tuition payments that you don't recognize in real time. But they are the ones, if you can pay attention to them, they will springboard you to where you want to be in whatever endeavor you may have. The answer to your second part is, how do you get people comfortable there? Is you have to find challenges in your life. Life is going to be hard enough for you. Challenges are coming. You're going to get uppercutted in the face by life plenty of times. How do you survive that environment? You develop resilience. You develop tools. You seek out discomfort and hardship before the world presents them to you, because that way you become more malleable. You become more able to deal with the things that life is going to challenge you with. And everything I just described is hard. It's hard work that nobody can do for you. Like, yeah, I wrote this book. Guess what? If you use those tools improperly, they're not going to work well for you. And none of these tools remove hard work. I know we live in a hack-based world. Like, let's hack everything. And for disclosure, you should hack your inbox and, find efficiencies. But if you think you're going to hack hard work, man, the world has got something coming for you. The better you can take, though, and prepare yourself with those tools going into that, refining your ability and just shaving away the excess and just, the biggest thing, find the tools that work for you. Use the tool for the right job. Like, a hammer is great for a nail, but it's not great for screwing in a Phillips head screwdriver. So develop a robust tool set, but push yourself before the world pushes you back.
The whole concept, Andy, of drownproofing, it's not about fighting the water. It's about kind of, I got from you, it's like learning how to exist in it without panic. In life terms, what does it mean to float instead of thrash?
I think it's the difference between survival or feeling like your head is being pushed underwater. I mean, I certainly didn't title the book Become an Olympic Swimmer, because I'm not. And that becoming an Olympic swimmer comes way after you learn how to survive, right? To me, drownproofing is learning how to survive. Once you have that template, then you can learn how to thrive. But then there's one more critical step. If you find yourself in a place where you have learned how to thrive, reach out and teach the people next to you how to swim as well, because then they can complete the same process. And that's how I think we change the world around us.
There's so many little gems in this book. Integrity can't be outsourced. You say something that really lands.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, right. And it's so good. It's so true. And you don't want to be defined by being a SEAL, which is crazy to me, because what an incredible thing. And thank you for your service. That's what you did. But it's not who you are. You say, I just hope people pick up this book. What an incredible opportunity to meet you like this. It is really a pleasure and a privilege. And I thank you so much for taking the time and being Up and Adam.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Adam. Appreciate it.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Again, thanks to Andy, not just for your service, but for your real honesty, your perspective, and putting this kind of work into the world. Drownproof, available wherever you get your books. I got links to everything, Andy, including the book on Amazon in the show notes. It's at your fingertips, so check it out. All right. What a Monday. Motivational Monday, huh? Looking forward to the rest of the week. Hoping I'm feeling a little bit better. I hope you're having a great week. Hope you're starting out with a great Monday. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Can't thank you enough for connecting here. I want to thank our friends at Moonshiner Collective for giving us original music on the show called Start Again. Learn more at moonshinercollective.com and stream them wherever you get your music. Of course, Timbre Winery for giving us the Timbre Lobro Studios. Learn more about Timbre online, timbrewinery.com. But I encourage you to go taste their wines. Go to the Village of Arroyo Grande. Love the Village. It's beautiful. It's charming. And their spot is just the same. It's incredible. And it's full of world-class wines. And everything is just awesome there. The people, the prices are reasonable. The wine is incredible. And it's just a great vibe. timbrewinery.com. Again, thanking them for the Timbre Lobro Studios. Also, thank you for connecting here, for being you, for being Up and Adam. Appreciate you when you rate, review, subscribe. Let others know about what we're doing here. It means a ton. Right, until tomorrow. I'm Adam Montiel. Enjoy the beginning of your week. And thanks again for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.